Good people? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's another great Wednesday. It's another great work for it Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, right? Yeah, yeah. Work for it Wednesday. We've got to put in that work. That's what we do on Wednesdays. That's what we do every day. Y'all know what it is. Our goal, our mission is to be 1% better every single day for 365 days so that you are 365% better at the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. That's what we're on a mission to do. I want you to be 365% better by the end of this year. And how do I do that? One of the ways that I do that is by hopefully giving you these principles, giving you these strategies, giving you this way of being able to make you, your business, and your brand better as entrepreneurs, as leaders, because these are the tools that we're going to be able to use in order to be able to move ourselves to that next level. It's all about moving to the next level, y'all. So whatever level you're on, hopefully using these principles, using these strategies, using these foundational things that I'm giving you. You as an entrepreneur, you as a leader, you as a brand, you as a business owner will be better. It's that simple, y'all. It's that simple. This week, what we've been focusing on, we've been talking about the 7 fundamental strategies of branding. It's what I call my concept program is called brand you development. How do you brand you? Not brand new, brand you. You use these concepts, you use these strategies in order to be able to be able to develop partnerships, collaborations, and sponsorships, which is what we talked about on Monday. Yesterday we talked about the use of technology. How do we use technology in order to be able to put ourselves in front of our target audience, our target audience, or our target market? What are those things that we needed to do from a technology standpoint? How do we use technology? Last week, one of the things that I talked about was AI, artificial intelligence. And matter of fact, on Monday, I talked about it as well. But artificial intelligence is here, and it's here for us to be able to use as a tool. It's a viable tool. It's a viable technological tool that we can use in order to be able to be more efficient, to maximize our productivity. I don't know if it's going to create a healthy work environment, but it can create a better work environment. But it's going to do those things. It will assist you in increasing your bottom line, and that's what we're here to do. So today I want to talk about exposure. Exposure. Now, technology are the platforms, but what do you do with the exposure that you're gaining? How are you being strategic in the exposure that you're getting? What tools are you using to gain that exposure? What media are you using? Are you using magazines? Are you using newspapers? Are you using the YouTube? Are you using the social media platforms? This is a form of exposure right here that I'm using. Do you use that as an entrepreneur, as a leader? Are you using the exposure that you gain, that you get, in order to be able to put you, your business, and your brand in front of that target market that you want to have available for your products and services, so that they know what it is that you have to offer? One of the great, and I'll use this as an example, Bishop T.D. Jakes just came out with a new book, right? He has a new book called Disruptive Thinking. I think it's going to be a phenomenal book. I've got to get it because it's on my to read list. And I suggest that you add it to your read list, because remember, how many books are you reading this year? What's your goal of the number of books that you want to read this year? That should certainly, definitely be one that you have on your list. So you certainly want to have that disruptive thinking. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that he did, that he leveraged, and it has to do with the other two that I just mentioned earlier. One, he leveraged his partnerships, sponsorships, and his collaborations in order to be able to uh, be put his book out there in front of his target audience, right? Because if you're anywhere in the sphere of Bishop T.D. Jakes, you heard about his book, right? You've seen him all over the place. He used partnerships, collaborations, and sponsorships. He used those in order to be able to gain exposure. His partnerships, he partnered with certain companies in order to be able to push his book. He collaborated with certain people in order to be able to expose his book. And then I believe his book sponsored, or was a part of a sponsorship, I believe, with what with what he's doing. That those three ways he gained the exposure that he needed in order to be able to be in front of his target audience. Here's what he did with technology. He used technology in order to be able to gain the exposure. This is a positive way. Then I'm gonna give you a negative way of using exposure, and then I'm gonna be done. But the positive the thing that he used technology, he has social. What did I say? Social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Amazon. Amazon. He's used magazines, newspapers, interviews, TV. He's used TV. He's used different forms of media in order to be able to gain the exposure that he wanted, in order to be able to let people know about his book that he has. And this is nothing more, and this is what I want you to do today. Y'all know I'm giving you homework. Absolutely. What I want you to do when you think about your product and service and exposure, what marketing plan do you have? What branding strategy do you have in place for your for your product or service? Do you have one? If you don't have one, you certainly need to get one. That's what my company, that's what we assist people in being able to do. Putting together a branding strategy, putting together a marketing plan, putting together your press kit. These are ways that you gain exposure. Because the first thing that the media outlets that you use, whether it's the newspaper, whether it's a magazine, whether it's TV, whether it's someone's podcast that you might be on, any of those forms of technology that you may use, any of those forms of exposure that you use, they're gonna want a press kit, and then you are going to want to be able to know strategically who you need to be speaking with from a marketing perspective. What marketing do you need to do, and then where do you need to do the marketing? That's going to put you in the position to be able to expose your target audience, your target market, to your product and services. That's the goal. That's what exposure will give to you. That's the positive side of it. Disruptive Thinking by Bishop T.D. Jakes. Go and peep that book. You want to get that book. As entrepreneurs, you should be a disruptor. As he said, you should be, as entrepreneurs, we are disruptors. We're not the norm. As leaders, you are disruptors. You're not the norm. You don't do things like everybody else. You think beyond yourself. You think beyond what's right in front of you. That's what disruptive thinking means to me. That's what I think about when I think of disruptive thinking. So that's the first positive. That's the positive side of the exposure, right? Have your marketing plan, have your branding strategy. What is that? Do you have it in place? If not, you need to put it in place. Then you need to be speaking to someone like me. so that we can sit down, make sure that you have a clear vision. You know where it is that you want to be, speaking the language of those that you're going to be, that you need to be speaking to, so that they can see the benefits of your product, your services that you offer, and that they need in order to be able to have it. Now, the negative side of exposure, which is what you don't want, and I want to dispel this myth that you hear people say, well, any um, any good exposure is any exposure is good exposure, or any good marketing is good marketing. No, it's not. There's positive imagery, there's negative imagery. It really is, and I think because and even before the even before the internet, there's always been this adage that people think that if somebody's saying my name, if people are saying my name, then that's going to, that's going to make people want to buy my products and services more. No. And hey, if that's you, that's you. But I don't believe that I want a negative connotation associated with my brand, with my business. Maybe you're cool with that. But I know my morality won't allow me to be able to do that. I don't want any negative thing attached to my brand. I don't want people thinking negatively about what it is that I do at any point. Not at all. But everybody knows what's been in the news about the basketball player, Ja Morant. And a young boy, 23 years old, has the world in his hands. Is a multi millionaire. Has been, because of his talent and his gift, has been given the opportunity to be able to do something that not everybody can do. And the exposure that he's getting right now, because of the acts that he has been a part of, have cost him his ability to even make more money. And there's a negative connotation associated with him, his brand, because he is a brand. He's a brand because he plays he's in an industry that is highly visible. He's in a highly visible industry. People see him millions of people see him. Millions of people come to see him play a sport. So he gets exposure, positive or negative. He's going to get exposure, positive or negative, and he has to be careful and intentional about the exposure that he does get. One of the things that I thought about when I watched the movie Air, and when they were talking about Michael Jordan, and they used certain characteristics to describe him. And one of the things that you didn't hear too much, there was some, and there's going to be anybody, the negative exposure that he got. But for the most part, there were positive things that was said about Michael Jordan. There's some negative things that people might not agree with, and I don't agree with either. But for the most part, his character was usually on par. I ain't saying he was perfect. None of us are perfect. And I'm not saying that Ja Morant has to be perfect. Not at all. But we have to be cognizant as entrepreneurs, as leaders, of the exposure and who we expose ourselves to. Your circle of impact is vital to the exposure that you get, because there can be some folks that'll give you some negative exposure. There can be some folks that can give you some positive exposure. It's all about who you expose yourself to, all about who's in your circle. So choose your circle wisely when it comes to the exposure that you want to get. Think about that, especially as entrepreneurs. When you get into these partnerships and collaborations and you're using technology, what kind of exposure is it that you want? Do you want the kind of exposure where people will see you and respect you and want to be able to say, wow, that's something that I want to be a part of? Or I want to support their products and services? Or, you know what? Yeah, those folks, I'm not. I can't get with that. And he is Jay Morant has lost. He's lost endorsements. He's lost partnerships. He's lost collaborations because of the exposure that he's getting right now. Same thing with the young lady Ebony Williams. Now I don't know if her exposure has has hurt her or not, but trust me, there are some people who think negatively of her because of the exposure that she's got. Because again, technology and how she's used it to get the exposure that she wants. Like I said, all exposure isn't good exposure. So what exposure are you getting this week? What exposure are you going to use today in order to be able to uplift you, your business, and your brand? Or are you going to use exposure to negatively impact you, your business, and your brand? That choice is yours. Some people don't think that there's anything wrong with it. Hey, if it's going to get my name out there, I don't care. That's what some folks think. So be careful. Be strategic about the exposure that you gain today and this week. Work for it. You're going to work for that exposure, y'all. Use it in a positive way. Use it to be able to make people better. I told y'all that. That's what I do. My purpose, my goal, my mission is to make people better. Simply make you better by the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. Make you better after this video than you were before this video. Giving you the ability to be able to think about some things. That's what I want you to do. Think about your exposure. What kind of exposure do you want? Do you want the kind of exposure that's going to put you in a position to impact people's lives better, to impact the community better, to impact your business and your brand better? Or do you want the kind of negative exposure that people don't even want to do business with you? Say, I ain't touching you with a 10-foot pole. I can't do business with you because I know what comes with doing business with you is negative exposure. And I don't want that. That choice is yours. We've got to be careful. As an entrepreneur, please be careful of how you expose yourself, the exposure that you gain, and think about how you're going to get the exposure that you want. What tools are you using? What tools do you have that's going to allow you to be able to get the exposure that you want to be able to get? Make it positive. Make it strong. But be intelligent about it. Be smart about it. It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. Hey, Miss Lydia, Miss Linda, how you? Hope you have a great day. So, the word of the day is exposure, y'all. The choice is yours, whether it's positive or negative. Put yourself in a position to have positive exposure. Think about your partnerships, your collaboration, your sponsorships. Are they positive? The exposure, are they going to give you positive exposure or negative exposure? Technology that you use, is it going to give you positive exposure or negative exposure? That's what it is. Let's go work for it today. Have a great day. Get out, get some sunshine, enjoy the weather. It's beautiful outside. Get some fresh air, get some vitamin D. We'll talk to y'all soon. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a great day.